Well, here we are at the fabulous, beautiful mystery farm of Mark Utter.
Coyote Creek
and
Farm.
with all these beautiful trinkets.
I need you to pull in just a little towards that piano, and you too, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the farm of Mark Utter. Thanks, Mark, for having us.
My pleasure.
And I got these guys together to play a couple Beatles tunes and talk about working with them and the strings attached and what attracts them to the music of the Beatles. Since this is our 5th Beatles album recreation, Let It Be, which I'm really excited about doing. And Dave and I were just talking on the way over here. One thing that we like about the Beatles music was that it's not just a simple song with some guy strumming the chords. There's this counterpoint that's there in the music, and the song we just played, "Don't Let Me Down," is actually simple harmonically, but no, they don't just leave it at that.
Seemingly simple.
Right, they don't just leave it at that. They have this counterpoint, and I thought he could demonstrate or talk a little bit about what's really cool about that song.
Yeah, actually I charted this song out to learn it with just chord symbols, block chord symbols, because it looks like 4 dudes just playing a rock tune. But then the more I eventually needed to move over to sheet music, because there are so many specific little orchestrations within this very simple little pop blues tune or whatever. So
yeah, it was cool. You were playing it on melodica in the car on the way over.
Yeah.
And one of the things that struck me about it was the syncopation, which they were really influenced by Latin music. It almost has a Latin flavor to it. This bridge that you were playing. So
right, yeah, the bridge after that second chorus goes changes all the chords and then goes to this part that goes.
Oh yeah, it's like Mozart. Almost.
Yeah, this
you know what I mean?
with the vocals.
Yeah. Let's do that. Can you join in on that, Mark? From there?
I'm in love.
Let's do it. Just a little bit of that to demonstrate.
Yeah. I'm in love for the first time.
Put the 2 parts together.
Don't you know it's gonna last?
Put a backbeat against it.
And love will last forever. It's a love that has no band.
Cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Nice.
I didn't know that.
And then the third part?
Actually, every single one, because the first verse has this basic Rhodes part that goes. That has all this little complicated comping, and then that does that counterpoint part, and then the third verse has this other line. So each verse has its own kind of orchestrated flavor to it.
Right.
And is that Billy Preston playing that on that recording? Do you know?
On the Rhodes?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was the
Wasn't
5th Beatle or the 6th Beatle.
That's one of the things about working with the
It's
Beatles
probably the
music.
6th Beatle, yeah. George Martin was the 5th Beatle, right?
There's
Right.
not-
Well, then you got
Yeah.
Pete Best, so
Well,
original drummers.
when I think of their music, there's not much that we have to do to it. Like when we're working with, say, the Pink Floyd show, The Dark Side of the Moon. Well, I mean, the arrangements, we have to do a lot more with the music to make it our own, but it's in some ways more difficult with the Beatles because they already have so much more counterpoint in there. Instead of me creating like a new line or something, it's more for me, from my standpoint, as an orchestrator, how to move parts around. So I'll say, okay, I'm going to have the strings cover that. That's what I like to bring to the table, in terms of like being the sort of the musical director of the whole project. And what do you guys bring to the table when you're working with strings attached? When you're working on a song, Mark, I mean, part of the reason why I bring you to this is because of your unique flavor as a singer, and instead of just trying to recreate the Beatles like a museum piece, we never do that in our Beatles shows. That's why I bring you to the table, because you have this Texas, just testosterone, thing that you bring to the table. And,
Right.
And you know, Dave, obviously you
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
sing and play the piano.
You know, the great things about working with Strings Attached or any other group of just virtuosic musicians is that for me, it's just already there. I mean, everybody is just all there. They're all amazing, and then it becomes more about what not getting in the way of that. You know, so really, when I show up to something like Strings Attached, it's about like, where can I let everything happen instead of you know charging into there to take charge. With a lot of musicians, you know, you feel responsible to charge in and make something excellent. But with Strings Attached, it's kind of, I feel like it starts at a baseline of excellent, and it's like, all right, just don't screw this up.
Right. It makes me think of like one of the most important parts of being a musician for me is actually being a listener.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
If you're around really talented musicians, then you actually get to do that. You actually get to go, you know what, I can just not play here.
Right.
I can just listen, and then when you feel like you have something to offer, you know, then you do it. And it's
Mark, we're running out of batteries, so I want to get you.
we are?
Yeah, well, one thing in working with Strings Attached and having these amazing musicians is, you know, I mean, every time you play, you're going to hopefully trying to do your very best. But when you're playing with these guys, you really want to do your best. And that involves not playing. It involves listening and being the best musician you can be. There's also I don't want to say competition, but there's a like
camaraderie.
Yes, camaraderie where we're all like, we are going to shine.
The bar is
together.
high.
Yeah, the bar is high, and we're all trying to be up there at that level. And you know, the Beatles had that with each other. You know, they respected each other as songwriters and musicians to the point where they were always striving to be their best and to be a little bit better than they were last
Right.
time.
As a musician, you want a scary moment. It's like Will Taylor takes violin solo, Glenn Rexash takes a guitar solo, and somebody points at you to solo. That's a scary moment.
Right.
You know, you're like, okay, here we go.
It's a moment of instant enlightenment because you have to deal with that fear that presents itself. And in music, you can't just leave the stage. You're instantly either enlightened or you fail.
It's all happening.
Yeah.
And you've got a very present audience who are there to listen, and they're paying attention to every
And we
little
want
thing.
you to
That's
be that
another
present
Yes.
audience. So please come.
And thank you for being that audience.
Yes. June, what's the date? June 26th. You can see these guys on the Let It Be show. You can also see